Okay, good. You're good.
Okay, great. So I don't know if you guys know, but this past week has been a little bit crazy for my family. So last Friday in the morning, my 5-year-old started complaining of some stomach aches. She said that her tummy hurt or whatever. And about 2 p.m. in the afternoon, she was a lot more specific. She was like, "Oh, Mommy, my tummy hurts here, right lower abdomen." Which, for those of you who are in the medical profession, are already going like, that's not good. So we didn't know exactly what was wrong, but we had a pretty good suspicion, right lower abdominal pain. So we ended up taking her to urgent care. Urgent care was like, we need more studies, so they sent her to the emergency room, and after an ultrasound and some blood tests, we get confirmed that my baby had appendicitis. Oof. So we go into Shabbos. I go there just before Shabbos. We, bring in the Sabbath, and at 1:30 in the morning, my daughter had an appendectomy. Baruch Hashem, the next day, she was already running up and down the hallways of the hospital because we live in amazing times of modern medicine. And Kaina Nahara, she's recovering absolutely beautifully. So, but the question is, why am I starting an Elul shir with this story of an appendectomy? So, the reason I want to start out with this is because I think a lot of us misunderstand Elul. A lot of us misunderstand this month, which is supposed to be about introspection, this month, which is supposed to be about tshuva, this month about, cheshbon nefesh, which is introspection, tshuva, repentance. We get the wrong idea about it. I think for a lot of people, this month just kind of seems like downright dreadful. It's a month where, you have to look over your life and think and stuff. It doesn't sound like a great time. But actually, I really think that this is an amazing month because it's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for us to find our purpose in life. And spiritual growth and actually living your purpose in life are the real ways to get happiness, actual lasting happiness. So instead of this month being something dreadful, this month is something really wonderful. And my favorite thing in the world, the Netivot Shalom, he has a mashal, he has a parable for the month of Elul, which I think is great. So we're going to start out with that. And what he says is when somebody feels like there's something wrong with their body, right? Something hurts, something feels strange, okay? And the doctors can't determine the cause, like right lower abdominal pain. The best thing that he can do is go to the hospital and do some testing. Some investigative testing, get some blood work done, maybe have an ultrasound. That way we can determine what the root of the problem is and we can arrive at the correct diagnosis, right? What he says, the Netivot Shalom says is, Elul is us going to a spiritual hospital for some testing. We're going to go through some investigating testing because during the year, as we're trying to do our spiritual growth or we're trying to find our purpose in life, we kind of start and stop. And sometimes maybe we do something and then it kind of falls apart. Or we get somewhere and then we kind of end up back where we start. And what the Netivot Shalom says is that here's what happens is you're treating the symptoms, but you haven't gotten to the root of it. It's like taking Advil for appendicitis. Sure, it'll make it hurt less, but it's not going to cure your appendicitis, taking an Advil. And I think this is something that we can see in our own ways that we try to grow. Like somebody says that they have problems with kavanah and tefillah, right? I can't pay attention and focus during tefillah. So they take a Kabbalah. You guys have heard of Kabbalah. It's it's something you take upon yourself, right? So they're I'm going to pay attention and put all of my kavanah in the first bracha of the Shemona Esrei, the first bracha of the Amidah. So this is a very common Kabbalah for Elul. So my husband says you can tell all of the guys who have taken this on because they go to Minyan, right? And they're going back and then going forward. And then the first bracha looks like this. Right? And then they finish the first bracha, and then the second bracha is right? What's missing? They're not at the root of the problem. They think, oh, if I put kavana in that first bracha, that's going to fix my problem. The problem is, you don't realize you're standing before God himself. That the solution to every single problem, the solution to everything you ever need, you're standing in front of everything and having a one-on-one. I think for us, maybe it's a little harder to relate to this, so like something a little easier to relate. Let's say you have a terrible boss. I don't know if anyone's ever had a terrible boss. And your way of coping with your terrible boss is Amazon.com. Right? You have a bad day at work, you going down the Amazon, right? Like you scrolling, you absolutely need a Snuggie right now, right? You're gonna buy some. And then at some point you wake up and you realize that Amazon Prime Day happened and you are now the proud owner of like $300 of merchandise that you don't really need. So you're like, that's it. No more online shopping. You give your credit card to your best friend. You like close your Amazon Prime account. Like you're like, that's it. I'm over it, right? But then you have another bad day at work with the boss. And you find yourself in Urban Outfitters buying like In Sync on vinyl with a checkbook. Right? Because we didn't fix the root of the problem. What you're running from is not your need to shop. What you're running from is you've got a bad boss that you need to deal with. Right? Do we see? Sometimes we try to fix the symptoms, but what we really got to go further is find the diagnosis. Okay. So we're in the hospital, right? Welcome to Elul. We're in the hospital, okay? We're doing our ultrasounds. We're doing our introspection. We're doing our cheshbon nefesh. And the idea of cheshbon nefesh is looking honestly at ourselves, okay? And people get real nervous about this. Especially in our generation where we all suffer from terrible low self-esteem. Especially women. Okay, we all suffer from terrible self-esteem. So like the idea of like deeply analyzing ourselves sounds like a one-way ticket to depression and desperation, right? Look at my faults and go deeply into all of the things I've screwed up. No, thank you. No, I'm good. But the thing is that the way the Hasidic teachers teach this, it turns it completely on its head. So, ready? Anybody in the table want to know their purpose in life? Anybody sound like a good thing?
Down.
Yeah, I work at Neve, so like everybody's in their early 20s exclusively looking for their purpose in life, right? Couldn't pay me to be 22 again, right? You're looking for your purpose in life, and the rest of us who are like a little further, like we're still looking for our purpose in life. I'm looking for purpose, right? The way that the Hasidic teachers teach is you want to look for your purpose in life, you want to know your tafkid, what you were put here for, which by the way was translated today as mission at Neve. Tafkid is your mission. I really liked that. Sounds like we're all superheroes. Okay? So what's your mission? What's your tafkid? It's wherever you have the strongest Yetzer Hara. Wherever you have the strongest Yetzer Hara, that's where your tafkid is. That's where you have the greatest potential. You struggling to pray? That's because in your mouth is a power of prayer that is incomparable. You struggle to speak nicely about people, it's because the day that you start speaking positively, you will light up the world. You struggle to believe in yourself because you are a world changer. And the day you realize that, there will be nothing that stops you. Where we have our greatest Yetzer Hara is where we have our greatest potential. And that's the only reason it makes sense, guys. The Yetzer's not going to come after the stuff that doesn't matter. He's going to stop you where you have the greatest potential. And how are you ever going to know what that is? Looking where you struggle the most. Where you fail frequently. Because wherever the struggle is where the potential is. It's not seeing how bad you are. It's seeing how amazing your potential is. How incredibly lofty you are instead. Okay, so like maybe you've heard this before, but like we're still treating symptoms. In order we get down to the deep, deep root, we're gonna have to dig. with love and with help. We're going to have to dig in order to not only get past these symptoms, but find that actual diagnosis. And then we're going to need the cure. And the cure is tshuva, teshuva, repentance. And this is also something that we totally misunderstood. We have all heard this Gemara, right, that says, "B'makom shebalei tshuva omed, tzadik gamor lo yachol lamod." In a place where a Baal Tshuva stands, a Tzaddik Gamor, a completely righteous person, cannot stand. And we love that quote. Right? We love that quote. We're like, woo, I'm a BT! Yeah, nobody can stand in my place. Yeah, thank God I ate bacon cheeseburgers. I'm over here being holy. I can't stand in where my bacon cheeseburger stands, right? So that sounds great, and it does feel good, but how could that possibly be true? I mean, think about it. Somebody went and stole, right? Somebody stole your Discman. I don't know. I'm going back to middle school here, okay? Somebody stole your Discman, and then they came back and gave you back your Discman. How does that make them holier than before they stole your Discman? How is that a thing? How can somebody who's never stolen be at a lower place than somebody who steals? How could a Tzaddik Gamor be below a Baal Tshuva? That doesn't actually make sense. So there's lots of explanations for this. I'm going to give you the Netivot Shaloms. But first we have to start and understand what Tshuva is. Okay, there's 4 steps to Tshuva. 4 steps to Tshuva. What are the 4 steps to Tshuva? Here we go. No, I'm asking. What are they?
Say what you did.
Okay. Vidui, confession.
Change the behavior.
Okay. Azivat hachet, stop doing the bad thing. Important.
Promise to not do it again.
Kabbalat al atid, promise to never do it again.
Say sorry.
No, that's vidui.
Regret.
Regret. Good. Harata. Regret. Okay. So you have to, first off, stop doing the bad thing. Second off, regret doing the bad thing. Third, say out loud, vocally to God that you regret doing the bad thing. And 4, take upon yourself to never do it again. Kabbalat al atid. Okay? So, according to the Netivot and according to the Rambam, the most important step is vidui, the confession. And the text of the confession the Rambam gives is more or less like this. Please Hashem, I sinned, I transgressed, I messed up, and I did the following thing. And I regret it, and I'm ashamed by what I did, and I will never do this again. Now y'all are all freaking out. You're like, I yell it, I'm getting depressed, I'm getting triggered, I'm talking about introspection, we're talking about seeing my struggle. That was okay when it was my struggles are actually my potential. That felt really good. But admitting my mistakes, feeling shame, saying I'm embarrassed, and even worse, you're saying I gotta say I'm never gonna do it again? Come on, who are we kidding? I can't even say that. It's too much. But we're misunderstanding it. We're misunderstanding this. We're misunderstanding what tshuva actually is. Okay, so the thing that everybody says for Elul. Elul stands for Ani ledodi v'dodi li. If you have not heard this, let me blow your mind. Anis, Aleph, ledodi, lamed, v'dodi, vav, li, lamed, Aleph, lamed, vav, lamed, Elul. Boom. Okay. I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. What are we talking about? The king is in the field, all of these concepts. What are we talking about? What we're talking about in that moment of ani ledodi, I am to my beloved, according to the Netivot Shalom, that's the moment of vidui, confession. Confession is the moment where we say, I'm yours. We have the closeness and we have the connection. What happens is, before we do tshuva, we're far away. when we like took this whole road. We went on a little trip. We went far away. When we say vidui, when we confess, when we do tshuva, we realize all we ever had to do was turn around. God was right there the whole time. We thought we went far, far away. Tshuva is the knowledge that all we have to do, tshuva comes from the word turn around. All we have to do is turn around, and Hashem is right there. We know that Hashem accepts tshuva. He doesn't want our mistakes to separate us. He wants to be close to us. And so in this moment of tshuva, where we humble ourselves, where we finally drop the ego, where we drop the act, and we admit that we've moved away, and we turn around and we say, God, I don't want to be far away. I want to be close to you. This sin, this thing I did is stupid, and it's a barrier between you and me, and I'm never doing this again. I don't want to be separate from you. I want to be close to you. And when we turn around, we realize God was right here the whole time. He never left us. We turned our backs. And that level of clarity to say, Hashem, I don't want this because I want you, it's powerful. Because when we turn around and we turn to Hashem, we can actually cling to Hashem. We can actually be close to Hashem. And we can become close. That's what tshuva is. Tshuva isn't like this long and winding road of like beating your chest and like, I'm terrible. Tshuva is, whoa, I'm better than this. This is not me. I did this thing. This thing took me away from God. This thing took me away from who I really am. This thing's taking me away from my potential. This is not for me. I'm done. And we turn around and God's like, hey, I was right here the whole time. So, why now? Why we gotta do all this tshuva right now? Because we're riding energy. The whole Jewish calendar is energy, guys. Ride the waves. So, why dafka now? Because our forefathers set us up. So, like, back in the day, we went out of Egypt. I don't know if anybody knows this. Okay, we went out of Egypt, and, like, the sea opened, and then, like, we went through, and then, like, right, God comes down, and he's like, tablets, right? And he's like, the law, right? Okay, amazing, right? And then Moshe goes up, and he's like, I'm going to go get the details. Y'all chill here. I'll be back in 40 days. And then what happened?
What is that?
Yeah, we kind of messed up. Kind of put our foot in it. Put our calf in it. Our golden calf. Tablet break-in foot in it. And when did that happen? When did we mess up? No, which day we mess up, guys? Good! 17th of Tammuz. We stuck our foot in it. Golden calf happened. 17th of Tammuz. Okay, so then God is like, I'm done. Moshe comes down. He's like, okay, God. He cleans up the camp, and he goes back up, and he's like, God, don't destroy them. God, don't destroy them. God, don't destroy them. And after 40 days, God's like, fine, I'm not destroying them, but the relationship is over. The way that the rabbis explain this is, it would be sort of like if somebody committed adultery under the chuppah. We just got married to God. Before the honeymoon's over, we brought somebody else in. God's like, fine, I'm not going to destroy them, but the relationship is over. Moshe comes back down, and he's like, guys, the relationship's done. And the Jews are like, no, please. We made a mistake, but please, beg for us. So Moshe goes back up for another 40 days, and he begs God to forgive Bnei Israel, to reestablish that relationship. And at the end, God says, guys, we're here, so... Yeah, God said yeah. Okay, good. God said yeah. What day did Moshe go up to start begging again? Rosh Chodesh Elul. 40 days after Rosh Chodesh Elul is Yom Kippur. The day that God forgave us. The day that God always forgives us. For all of time. This time period is stamped for all of time as a period that no matter what you did, no matter how much you might have messed up the relationship, God can forgive. God will forgive. We can reestablish. So, this is Elul. Elul is discovering our strengths through our struggles recognizing how our mistakes have separated us from our potential and from our God, and then deciding that we're done with all of that and turning around and connecting and being closer than ever before. But then the Netzivot takes us even deeper. And this is what I'm going to end on. He calls Elul a shar. What's a shar? Gate, right? He calls Elul and Rosh Hashanah a shar. And what's the most important thing in a shar? In a gate? It's not where you're coming from. It's where you're coming into. What he says is Elul and Rosh Hashanah aren't actually about the past at all. They're only and exclusively about the future. The point of a hospital is not to spend time in a hospital. The point of a hospital is you go in, you get cured, and you get out. And you don't hang out there for very long. Elul is about introspection and it's about tshuva, but it's not about sitting in this place anymore. It's about where are we going? It's about renewal, it's about new beginnings, it's about living a life based on our true purpose with closeness to God, with the greatest happiness possible. It's not actually the last month of the old year. It's the first month of the new year. And the way that the Netzivot explains this is absolutely stunning. He says, we all know, on Rosh Hashanah they open 3 books. You heard about the books? Right, there's 3 books that get opened on Rosh Hashanah. Book number 1, come on guys, the Maccabees. What's the first book? The book of life. Okay, who gets written in the book of life? The Tzaddikim. All the Tzaddikim get written in the book of life. What's the other book? The book of not life. And who gets written in the book of not life? The Rashaim, the evil people. And then you've got the Bueller. The rest of us book. The Benoni. The Benoni. Okay, so what the Gemara says is, on Rosh Hashanah, 3 books are opened. They who are tzaddikim gamor are written in the book of life. They who are tzaddikim, who are rashaim gamor get written in the book of death, and everybody else is Benoni. They are written, but they are not sealed until Yom Kippur. Like it's in the liturgy. You're going to talk about books on Rosh Hashanah. You heard about the books? Now you heard about the books? If you hadn't heard about the books, you now know about the books. Question is, the Netzivot Shalom asks, who's writing in the books? We've heard about the books our whole life. Who's writing who in the book? Who's the one holding the pen? We are writing ourselves. They open the books before you. And you on Rosh Hashanah take the pen and you decide which book you write yourself into. If you decide in that instant, from now on I am a tzaddik gamor, and you take upon that instant to be a tzaddik gamor, you write and seal yourself to life. And if you decide this is all dumb and I'm going to do what I want, I'm not going to live my potential, I'm going to do what I want, then you sign yourself in the other book. And if you can't make up your mind, then you write yourself in the book that won't be sealed yet. And your actions will determine it for you. It's all in our hands. What we want for our future is what we're determining right now. We're standing in a gate. Rosh Hashanah and Elul are not about going over the past year and being like, oh, I was so terrible, I'm horrible. No. It's saying, wow, I got off track a little bit because I've got so much darn potential. I moved away from God. As soon as I turn around, He's right there. The next year is going to be amazing. Because all of these struggles that I've had are just pointing me in the direction I need to go. Any feeling of separation is just myth. All I have to do is turn around and say that I don't want to be separate from God, and instantly it's over. All I have to do is decide I want to be a tzaddik. And I will be. It's all about what we choose to do. But without knowing ourselves, without knowing our struggles, without knowing where we're separate, we can't do anything. So like, practical. How do we bring it down? Cheshbon nefesh. Look over. Where do you struggle? But not with like a, I'm so awful. Nah. With a, where do I struggle? Because that's where my greatest light is going to be. You take on kabbalot. You take on tiny little things in the area that you greatest struggle in. You addicted to your smartphone? It's okay. We all there. Everybody's dealing with it. Tiny little things. Don't put it in the bedroom. You got trouble speaking badly about people, realize that the root of that is probably not that you are a hater. It's probably coming from somewhere else. Maybe you don't have anything better to say and you get nervous with silence. Read a Wikipedia article. Maybe it's that you don't feel very good about yourself. Well, then you got to work on that. Don't be stuck with the symptoms. Go deeper and try to understand the roots. Why are you looking obsessively at your Instagram? Why are you Snapchatting 15 hours a day? Why are you retail therapy 14 hours a day? Why your life on Amazon? Maybe it's because if you stopped being on Amazon and you started using that ability to meet other people's physical needs, you'd light up the world with chesed. Maybe if instead of Instagramming your lunch, you started making lunch for other people, you'd light up the world. We all are struggling. But instead of ignoring it, let's just turn around and be like, I am incredibly capable, which is why I struggle. That's why I have a Yetzer heart. Because God knows I'm awesome. And He wants me to work for it. And when we realize that we've gotten off track and that we've stepped away from God, tshuva isn't scary. Tshuva is love. Tshuva is God going, seriously, I'm right here. I'm right here. Just turn around. Just turn around. I'm right here. Elul is a time of hope and happiness. Seriously, listen to the Spartans sing Selichot. Like we've sinned before. Like, come on, we're happy. Like we messed it up, but we're gonna get back. I'm signing the tzaddik book. It's gonna be fine. It's all about growth. It's all about purpose. It's about closeness with God. And those are the sources of the greatest happiness possible. We're in the gate, ladies. Let's step forward with a smile on our face. I wish you all Shana Tova Umetuka.
Wow.